No, I don't think so, I said firmly. Her eyes narrowed, genuinely confused. What are you even talking about? You just assumed I'd be waiting here when you got back, ready for your explanations, I clarified. But that's not going to happen because I won't be here. Her voice was edged with irritation. Where are you planning on going? Anywhere but here, I shot back. She responded with a pout, like some spoiled child. What do you mean, anywhere but here? That's not something you need to know, I replied, my voice as cold as I could make it. You're being childish, she snapped, rolling her eyes. You need to grow up. It's the 21st century, things are different now. I don't doubt that you've changed, I replied. As for me, well, I'm still me. Maybe a few more gray hairs, but I haven't changed. You, though? You're different, and not for the better. She glanced down at herself, still physically flawless as ever, pretending to be hurt. What's that supposed to mean? Well, for starters, you mentioned meeting someone for dinner, I said. You told me it was a man but wouldn't give me his name. That's new. Oh, that's nothing, she waved it off, brushing it aside. I told you I love you more than ever, and that hasn't changed. Well, I can't say the same, I admitted. An hour ago, I loved you more than ever. But since then, that feeling has been fading fast. Right now, I feel more disgust than love. Her face twisted in offense. I knew you'd react this way. How disappointing. Life is full of disappointments, I replied. Just yesterday on the golf course, I was aiming for an 85, but I ended up with 87 because of 3 bad putts on the 11th. She looked at me, exasperated. Why are you talking about golf? It's a frustrating game, I said casually. You brought up frustration, so I thought I'd share mine. She was clearly annoyed, and my nonchalant attitude was only making it worse. Alex, I'm leaving in 20 minutes, she said impatiently. You need to take this seriously. Oh, I am taking it seriously, Harper, I replied. The problem is, you're not a serious person. Her pride visibly took a hit. Being taken seriously was something she always demanded. She had her own business, earned nearly as much as I did, and was educated, independent, and beautiful. Most people respected her. I have no idea why you'd say that, she replied, clearly stunned. Alex, I'm leaving, whether you like it or not. And it won't change anything between us. I'll make you happier than ever. It's selfish, sure, but I justify it to myself. You might not see it now, but soon you will, and everything will be just fine. You're wrong, I said. Oh really? About what? You think this won't change anything, but everything's already changed. She looked at me, baffled. What exactly has changed? You have. Your attitude toward me has changed. You've convinced yourself of some twisted reality. My feelings toward you have changed, and there's more to come. Like what? She demanded, unwilling to back down. Well, for one, how do you think Lila and Finn will react to their parents splitting up? She sighed, dismissing me. What are you even talking about? We're not getting divorced. And besides, our decisions are none of their business. On one point, I agree, what we do should be our business, I said. But this is bigger than just us. It's you, and some other guy. Oh, I can see you're going to make this difficult, she muttered. Alex, let's put this aside and work it out. No, we're not going to work it out, I replied. I'm leaving. This is more important than whatever plans you have, she insisted. I'm not changing my plans. And maybe you should reconsider yours, I said. Oh, I didn't plan this, I replied. I just decided a minute ago. I could see she was gearing up to argue, but I stopped her. Harper, you're too late. The moment you thought I'd tolerate your games and disrespect, you'd already lost me. None of this is true, she nearly screamed. I never lost respect for you. Problem is, I don't believe you, I replied calmly. Everything you've done since you walked through that door has proved otherwise. And I'm not changing my mind. I'm leaving, Harper. Go ahead and keep your date if you want. I'm done. I grabbed my jacket, wallet, and keys, heading for the door. Wait, she yelled, chasing after me in those ridiculous high heels. But she was too slow. I shut the door and got into my car. By the time she stumbled outside, I was already pulling away. I decided to text Finn. She lived just a few miles away. She responded instantly, "Want some company?" I shot back a heart emoji. "I'll make popcorn." When I arrived, she was already on the couch. Her giant dog, Max, a 160-pound Dogue de Bordeaux, bounded to the door and almost knocked me over in his excitement. He was all over me, drooling on my pants and trying to hug me. "Hey there, buddy," I chuckled, scratching him while he wriggled around happily, nearly snoring with contentment. Finn had already poured me a glass of wine and set out a bowl of popcorn. I took a sip and looked at her. "Don't say a word," she warned, grinning. "I like sweet wine, even if you don't. My house, my rules." I laughed. "Hey, I tried to raise you right. Can't help if you went rogue." She tossed a plaid blanket over my legs and cozied up beside me. "So, what's Mom up to?" "I honestly have no idea," I replied. She gave me a curious look. "That's odd." "Yeah, it is," I said, sighing. "Dad, what's going on? You seem uncertain." When I got home, she told me she was going on a date. When I pushed back, she claimed she'd cancel so we could talk. But I'd had enough, so I walked out. Now I have no idea if she's actually out on that date or waiting at home. Finn's jaw dropped. "Wait, what? A date?" "Yeah, Finn. I'm as shocked as you are. She mentioned it was with some man but wouldn't give me a name. Expected me to just go along with it." "Dad, are you serious? Are you sure you heard her right? I wish this was a joke, but it's not." "What is going on?" she demanded. "I was over there on Wednesday, and everything seemed fine." "I thought so too," I admitted. "But I didn't know anything until tonight." "I'm calling her," Finn said firmly. I overheard her side of the conversation, and it was telling. She kept her questions pointed. "Where are you, Mom?" "With who?" "Seriously, Mom, you just lied to me." "Dad's here." "You just lied to my face." "What's wrong with you?" "My own mother lied to me." "I don't care, you lied." "Don't call me." "Don't come here." "I'll reach out if I want to talk." She hung up, and we sat there quietly for a few moments. I didn't know what to say. I put my arm around her, pulling her close as she trembled, burying her face in my chest, sobbing. "She lied to me, Dad. She said she was with you." "She lied." "Yeah, you heard right," I said, holding her. I felt like breaking down myself. "I think she went on that date anyway," I murmured, feeling my chest tighten. "I know, honey," I replied gently, pulling her close. "It's going to be okay. Please don't cry, Finn. You're tearing me apart here." "How is it going to be okay?" she asked, sitting up, her sadness giving way to anger. "My own mom lied to me. She's out on a date and tried to deceive me. Dad, what are you going to do?" "Honestly? I don't have a clue," I confessed. "Finn, I just came here to talk to you, to try to figure this all out in my head. But I should have known you'd have questions." "It's not your fault, Dad." "I'm the one who asked," she said, reaching for a box of tissues. She wiped her eyes, blew her nose, and then dropped onto the floor, sprawling out on top of Max, who snorted in half-sleeping protest. After a few moments, she moved back over to me, resting against him. "Max always calms me down," she said, her hand resting on the big dog's soft fur. "And holding you always calms me down," I replied, trying to keep things light. "Plus, you smell a whole lot better than he does." She giggled. "True, he's got a bit of a funk to him. But seriously, Dad, talk to me. How did this even happen? What's going on with you and Mom? What's your plan? I wish I had some answers for you, sweetheart, but I don't. I'm just as lost as you are," I said, feeling more helpless than ever. After a long moment of silence, she spoke up, "We should call Lila." Without waiting for my reply, she pulled out her phone and dialed. "Hey, Sil, where are you? Okay, I need you to come here, like, now." "No, it's serious." "All right, see you soon." "She's at Straps," Finn explained, mentioning a club nearby they liked. "She'll grab an Uber." We nibbled on popcorn, sipping our wine as we tried to make sense of what could be going on with Harper. About 20 minutes later, Lila showed up, greeting Max with her usual affection, letting him nearly bowl her over before taking a seat on the other side of Finn. 3 years older than Finn, Lila was her best friend in the world. Finn, petite and a little blonde firecracker like her mom, looked even smaller next to Lila's taller frame and dark hair, which she'd inherited from Harper. She hugged both of us, her gaze worried. "What happened? What's going on?" "I was at a party, so everything better be okay," Lila said, still glancing between us. "Are you drunk?" Finn asked, eyeing her skeptically. Lila laughed. "Well, I was at a party. I had 2 margaritas and a cocktail, so, maybe a little." Finn gave me a look. "Go make her some coffee, Dad," she ordered. "This is serious, Sil." After a couple of cups of coffee, Lila was more alert, and Finn filled her in on everything. Lila looked shaken, her face serious as she looked at me. "Daddy, there's got to be more to the story. Are you sure you're not leaving something out? Have you two been fighting? I mean, any issues, in the bedroom?" I sighed. "Sure, we fight sometimes, but no more than when you both lived at home, probably less, actually. Mostly, we argue about you too." I grinned, nudging Finn, who punched my arm playfully. "And no issues in the bedroom as far as I know. If there were, your mom hasn't mentioned anything." Lila seemed to think for a moment. "I need to talk to her." "Finn, you should too. But most of all, you need to talk to her, Dad. Why didn't you stay to sort things out?" "Maybe I should have," I admitted, running a hand through my hair. "But I was so angry. You didn't see the way she told me, it was so cold, like it meant nothing." Finn squeezed my hand. "I get it, Dad, but Lila right. We all need to talk to her and figure out what she's thinking. Do you think you can get yourself together to talk to her without blowing up?" "I don't know, honey," I said honestly. "I'm going to head to the lake, try to relax, maybe sleep if I can, and hopefully wake up with a clearer head." "I'll come with you," Finn offered. "Let me grab a bag and a blanket for Max." She hurried to her room, then called back, "Lila, give Dad a cigarette." Lila raised an eyebrow but dug through her purse, pulling out a slim case. I nodded, and she handed one to me. I hadn't smoked in ages. Harper and I only lit up when things were rough, but tonight I needed it. Finn came back with her bag, Max's dishes, and some dog food, while I grabbed his bed. We loaded everything into the truck. Lila helped, arranging Max's things in the back. "I'll talk to Mom in the morning," she said. "Finn, see if you can find a good time to talk to her and let me know how it goes. Dad, please don't do anything drastic, okay?" "I'll try to keep my dumb decisions to a minimum," I replied with a weak smile. "But you know me, I can be a little dense. Lila hugged us both before Max hopped into the truck. Finn and I spent the whole drive talking, with her firing questions, some I could answer, and others I just couldn't. When we finally reached the lake house, we took Max out by the water. Finn held my hand like she always had, her touch a constant comfort in all the chaos. We let Max splash around, throwing sticks for him to chase as he waded through the water and chased after frogs. As the sun dipped lower, we headed back inside. "Want a mojito?" I asked, trying to lighten the mood. "Definitely," she replied with a grin. I made us both a big, strong mojito, and Finn lit a fire in the fireplace. We sat sipping our drinks, sharing a cigarette, and talking about everything and nothing. "What are you thinking, Dad?" she finally asked. "I'm considering my options, but it all depends on what your mom decides to do," I said. "Honestly, Finn, it's a mess. She might just tell me she's made some terrible mistake and take it all back, and then what? Therapy?" Finn laughed, shaking her head. "Maybe a magic wand would work better." "But seriously," she asked, "what if she goes through with it?" "Then I guess we end up in court," I replied. "But I can't believe that's what she wants." "Why would she want that?" "I don't know, Dad. You're way smarter than me. You're going to be a psychologist soon. What would make a person act this way?" She sighed. "Honestly, I have no idea. People cheat for all kinds of reasons: revenge, commitment issues, physical attraction, looking for something they're not getting in their relationship. But none of that seems to apply to Mom. And if she had any complaints," I said, "you'd think she'd talk to me, at least give me a chance to make things right." "Yeah, you'd think," Finn replied. "I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'll talk to her tomorrow and see what's really going on." "Dad, you'll have to drive me back later so I can grab my car." Surprisingly, I managed to sleep well that night. I drifted off watching videos on my phone, and the next morning, I got up, dressed, and took Max outside. He wandered around the bushes, sniffing and exploring for a solid hour. When we got back, Finn was already awake. "Do we have any food around here, Dad?" she asked, looking around the kitchen. "Not really, honey. We didn't stock up before coming over." "That's all right," she shrugged. "You can take me out to breakfast. I'm craving French toast at Gay's." "Deal," I agreed. We left Max snoozing at the house and headed to Gay's for a heavy breakfast. Over plates of French toast and coffee, we talked through some hypothetical situations about what could have led us here until we got tired of the subject. The conversation shifted to school, my job, Max's latest antics, and her internship. Once we were done, we picked up our things and headed back to her place. I took a walk back to the lake house afterward, settling into the porch glider to watch the boats glide over the water. The loneliness hit me hard. I missed Harper and the simple times we used to spend together, just enjoying each other's company. I decided to go fishing to clear my head, taking the boat out to fish among the cedar thickets, and managed to catch 6 good crappies. After cleaning them, I dug out some frozen fries to go along with them, and the meal turned out delicious. When I finally turned my phone back on, I saw messages from both girls asking me to come over to Finn's. I drove there and found them just digging into pizza. Finn handed me a beer, and we settled at the kitchen bar while they ate. "Well, I talked to Mom," Finn began slowly. "Me too," Lila added. "And you're not going to like what we heard." Finn took a deep breath. "She told me she's unhappy. Not with you, but with her life. She says it feels dull, like it's missing something exciting. Some guy at work has been hitting on her, and she likes the attention. She enjoys feeling attractive and desired. She says she wants to date, and that you could, too, if you want." I sat there, letting her words sink in. "Lila, did she tell you the same?" "Pretty much," she confirmed. "Daddy, I don't think it'll last. She's probably just going through a phase. She'll realize it's a mistake and snap out of it. Damn it, Lila. Finn burst out, anger flashing across her face. You're okay with this garbage? I never said that, Lila defended herself. I just think it won't last. She'll come back to her senses, and things will go back to normal. I shook my head, stunned. And what am I supposed to do while she's coming to her senses? Love her, be patient, let her calm down, Lila replied. She does love you, Dad. She's just going through something, midlife crisis, maybe. Or maybe not, Finn countered sharply. This isn't just a midlife thing. This is her going out with other men. What do you want to do, then? Lila challenged. Divorce her? Lock her up? Divorce is definitely on the table, I said, my tone serious. No, it's not, Lila insisted, exasperated. Dad, don't throw everything away over this. You two are meant for each other. You know it. Maybe you should talk to her about that, Finn retorted. Tell her to get her act together. You're acting like this is just some minor problem and Dad hasn't done anything wrong here. I'm not taking her side, Lila replied defensively. Well, that's exactly the problem, isn't it? Finn shot back, her frustration building. You're acting like we need to be patient. Patient? Mom went on a date with some random guy. And let's not kid ourselves, he's not a good guy. No decent man hits on a married woman, and she's wrong for letting it happen. All right, let's all take a breath, I interrupted, hoping to cool things down. But neither of them was backing off. Lila turned to Finn, frustrated. So what do you want, Finn? Our parents to get divorced. Is that it? Finn shook her head. It's not about what I want or what you want. It's about what Dad wants. And let's not forget, Lila, that Dad didn't ask for this. Mom did. It's on her to make it right. Until she does, she needs to realize our relationship with her is on our terms. What's that supposed to mean? Lila asked, her tone challenging. It means I don't want to see her much or hear from her right now, Finn declared. So, you're just going to cut her out of your life? Lila asked, shocked. I'm not cutting her out completely, Lila. But I'm not going to pretend everything's fine either. This mess is on her, and if you can't see that, you're as blind as she is. Whoa, let's slow down here, I intervened, reaching out to pull them both into a hug. Finn allowed it, but Lila turned away, grabbed her bag, and stormed out the door. We watched as she walked to her car, hesitated for a moment with her headlights on, then finally drove away. God, I'm so mad at her right now, Finn muttered. I'm sorry, Dad, but that was a load of garbage. I sighed, feeling the weight of it all. Yes, it was, but it's not entirely Lila's fault. This whole thing is because of your mother. You and Lila shouldn't be stuck in the middle of it. I know you're both grown, but we were always a close family. Our lives have revolved around each other, and you've always had a good relationship with your mom. None of this should be on you, and it shouldn't be on Lila either. It's not on you, Dad, Finn replied, her voice firm. You're right, it's Mom's mess. But Lila acting like we just have to be patient about it? That's messed up, too. Just don't burn any bridges with her, all right? I cautioned. Let me talk to her. I'll try to sort something out. I love you so much, Finn, and I don't want you getting hurt more than you already have. She hugged me tightly. I trust you, Daddy. I'll wait to see what happens. Just keep me close, okay? Always, I promised her. It was finally time to face Harper. I couldn't keep putting it off. When I got back to the garage, her car was parked there. I sat for a moment, trying to find a sense of calm, then went inside. My stomach was in knots, so I poured a glass of milk to settle it. Harper appeared from her office when she heard me. "Hi," I said, my tone neutral. "I'm glad you came back," she said, studying me closely. "Harper, I'm far from okay," I told her bluntly. She looked thoughtful. "I know. I just wanted to keep myself safe. Are you ready to talk?" I nodded. "Here or in the living room?" "We might as well be comfortable," she replied, grabbing a juice, while I grabbed a box of wheat cakes. We sat on the couch, a good foot apart, which was unusual since she usually liked to sit close. My frustration must have been clear, and I was sure she felt the tension. "I want to apologize, Alex," she began. "I realize I went about this all wrong. Very wrong." I raised my hand, stopping her. "If you think the issue is just how you handled it, then we're wasting our time." She looked confused. "I don't follow. Let me spell it out. It's not about the way you told me. It's the fact that you even considered going on a date with another man. That's the issue. Do you understand that?" "I understand what you're saying, but you don't understand what I mean," she replied. "All right," I said. "I'm listening." "All right, go on." "Help me understand," I said, folding my arms. "By manage, I mean that I should have taken the time to explain my intentions, so maybe it would feel more tolerable for you," she said. I raised an eyebrow. "You'd have to be a magician for that to work. Have you suddenly discovered any magical powers?" She gave a faint smile. "Not quite magic, but close." "All right, Harper, you've got the floor. Let's hear it." "I want you to think about it, Alex. How old are we now?" "I'm 48, and you're practically ancient at 49, she teased. I laughed a little, despite myself. "Yeah, well, I'm feeling every one of those years. Not physically, though. Honestly, I think we're both in the best shape of our lives, at least physically. But mentally and emotionally, it's different. Do you remember how we felt when we were 25? "Yeah, I remember," I replied. "So do I," she continued, her voice softening. "I remember feeling alive, like the whole world was ours, filled with endless possibilities. Everything seemed so vibrant, every day a new discovery in love, life, everything. Do you remember that feeling?" "Yes, I remember it," I nodded. She sighed. "Now, look at our lives. We get up on Sunday, and the week starts. Watch a little soccer, or pick a movie. We've done it 1,000 times. You're right about that, I admitted. Monday rolls around, and we go to work, come home, and do the same things we've done 1,000 times before. The days blend into weeks, the weeks into years, and the years pile up. Sometimes I feel like we're just on autopilot." "I get it," I said. "But the difference is, I like doing the things we've done 1,000 times. I want to keep doing them, to share them with you. That's why we keep at it, because we enjoy it. If we didn't, we'd find something else to do." She nodded, but her eyes were far away. "That's exactly what I'm saying. I love our routine, too, but I want to add something new to it, to bring back the excitement of life surprising us. I want to keep growing, exploring new things." "I hear you," I replied slowly, "but what I don't understand is why you think we can't do new things together. Why bring other people into it?" "I think we can explore together," she said, hesitating. "But when I told you I was going on a date, I thought we could each go out separately, then share the experience when we came home. You could do it too, if you wanted. Alex," she went on, her voice troubled, "I think we see togetherness very differently." "What are you getting at?" I asked, leaning forward. "Let me be crystal clear. When I say together, I mean you and me. Just us. The moment a third person enters, it stops being together. That's where it breaks down for me. She paused, thinking. When was the last time you spent an evening alone with a woman who wasn't me? If we're not counting the girls or family members, then it was probably 6 months ago. Remember when we went to Kansas City with Chloe to meet those telecom reps? She nodded. Right. I know Chloe well. So, tell me, Alex, was there any tension between you two? Not that I'm aware of, I replied. Sure, she's a beautiful woman. You know that. But I'm married to you, I'm a decade older, and we don't flirt. We've got a professional relationship. We're friends, and that's it. Okay, but what if you took her out for dinner, maybe hit a few places afterward, went dancing? Wouldn't it be thrilling to hold a woman like her in your arms? Wouldn't that stir something in you? Maybe that's exactly why I don't, I said, my voice steady. And why not? She pressed. Because I'm married to you, I replied. I don't put myself in situations that would lead me anywhere else. She studied me, her eyes narrowing. What if I was fine with it? It wouldn't matter, I said firmly. It just wouldn't be right for me. She sighed deeply. Maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have even brought this up. But now? I'm older. I'm mature enough to handle it. And I think you should be, too. That's the thing, Harper. That's not what I signed up for. We made a promise of fidelity to each other. You and I committed to that, and if you want to walk away from it, that's your choice. I can't make that decision for you. But I can decide what's right for me. I don't want to leave, she insisted. I want more freedom, some spontaneity, adventure. But I want to stay with you. You're going to go ahead with this, regardless of what I feel, aren't you? I said. She looked down, hesitating. I don't know, Alex. I think I might. That's what hurts the most, I told her. The fact that you've thought all of this out, that you can say it so calmly, it tells me a lot. You've been hiding things from me for a while. What else is there? And then, of course, Friday night. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that, she said, almost pleading. I was just angry because you walked out when I wanted to talk. That's nonsense, Harper. You'd planned this long before Friday. You were going to go through with it without telling me. And you lied to Finn about it. You're pretty good at lying, it seems. I told you I'd cancel if we could just talk, she defended herself. That's just more excuses, Harper. I'm done with all this talk. You had a chance to manage things, and you blew it. My position hasn't changed. It's not about managing it the right way. It's the fact that you did it, that you intended to do more, and that you still want to. That's all that matters. I can't control what you do, but I can control what I do. I'm going to pack my things and let you get on with whatever it is you need. What the hell, Alex? That's not what I want, she protested, looking stricken. It doesn't matter what you do or don't want anymore, I replied, exhausted. What matters is that you wanted something more than me. Right now, I have no trust in you. You've pretty much told me that you find me boring, that you need more excitement. Even if you don't do anything, I know how you feel about me now. And I don't think you'll ever be happy with boring me. We're on different pages, Harper. It's time to accept it. I went down to the basement and grabbed my suitcase, packing enough for a week, knowing I could come back later for the rest. She trailed after me, pleading that we could work things out, but I wasn't listening. I loaded my things into the truck, and when she tried to get in, I kept the door locked. As I drove away, I glanced in the rearview mirror and saw her standing in the driveway, looking small and alone. I loved her, but I felt like half my heart and soul had been ripped away. I just couldn't see a way forward. I made a quick stop at the grocery store. Doing something routine helped distract me, if only for a little while. But as I drove back to the lake, all those thoughts and emotions came flooding back with even more intensity. I tried listening to a podcast, but by the time I reached the house, I couldn't remember a single thing they'd said. I brought my bags inside, feeling mentally and emotionally drained. I knew I should call the girls, but I couldn't summon the energy. After about an hour, my phone rang. It was Lila. "Hey, honey," I answered, doing my best to sound normal. "Where are you, Daddy?" she asked. "I'm at the lake," I replied. "Where are you?" "I'm at your house," she said, her voice tinged with worry. "Mom called and asked me to come over." Just then, a call notification from Finn interrupted us. "Hold on a sec, it's Finn," I said, switching over to let her know I'd call her back, then returned to Lila. "All right, I just told Finn I'd call her back." "I'm glad you're there with your mom," I told her. "Dad, she's a wreck." "You should be here with her, not me," Lila said, sounding upset. "I know, Lila, but this is complicated. Are you sure you want to hash it out over the phone?" She was quiet for a moment. "No, I guess not." "Are you coming back, though?" "Not right now, honey. I'll explain everything when I see you." "This isn't good, but I guess it is what it is," she said, resignation in her voice. "Daddy, I've got work. I can stay tonight, but I'm slammed at the office. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow." "Your mom works too, Lila," I reminded her. "You do what you need to do. Your mom and I are the ones responsible for handling this." She snorted, clearly frustrated. "I'm so sorry, Dad. I know this is hard for you too. I love you. I love you too." I pulled myself together and called Finn back. "Hey, honey, you all right?" "Daddy, are you?" she asked. "I will be," I replied. "Are you holding up okay?" "I guess so," she said. "You're at the lake, right?" "Yep, I'm here. Want some company? We could talk." "Absolutely. Are you sure you can come out here?" "Yeah, I'm all packed," she said. "My classes are online this week, but I do have to work on Wednesday and Thursday. Can I stay with you for a few days?" "Finn, you never have to ask. I'll spend every second I can with you." "I know," she said softly. "I'll be there in an hour or so. Got some leftovers waiting for me first." I was putting food out on the counter when I heard the sliding door open, followed by the sound of Max's claws clicking as he came in, sniffing for food. He made a beeline for the counter, so I stopped to give him some attention. I fed him the trimmings from the pork chops, and as I washed my hands, Finn came up behind me and hugged me tight. I dried my hands and hugged her back. "Smells good," she said, grinning. She reached over to grab a paper towel and wiped the drool from Max's mouth before he settled himself down by the bar stools. We dug into the food. It was delicious. "So, how did it go with Mom?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Finn's expression shifted. "Not well." She had a lot of explanations, but it all boiled down to her being bored and wanting to relive the thrill of being young. "Tell me something," I said. "If you were analyzing her as a professional and not as her daughter, what would you say is going on with her?" She shook her head. "I wouldn't treat a family member, Dad. But if a stranger came to me with this story, I'd say they were depressed and probably struggling through a big life transition. People call it a midlife crisis, but there's no official diagnosis for that, you know." "I didn't know that," I admitted. "I thought it was an actual thing. It's a popular term in movies and books, but it's not a diagnosis. It's just a transition period where people start seeing their own mortality, realize their time isn't limitless, get depressed, and often start making reckless choices to feel like they're invincible again." I looked at her, smiling. "Wow. My little girl's gotten so smart." She smiled back. "Yes, I have. don't forget it. Do you think she should see a therapist? I asked. Absolutely, and I'll tell her that, but I'm not getting personally involved, she said. I understand, and I wish you weren't tangled up in this mess. I'm really sorry, Finn. It's not your fault, Dad, she said, placing a hand on my arm. I know you feel bad for me, but I feel bad for you too. We'll get through this, together. Yeah, it's not like we've got a lot of choice, I replied. Lila came out to the lake on Tuesday night. Finn made potato salad while I grilled hamburgers, and we sat together on the porch, talking and eating. Dad, Mom's a wreck, Lila said, looking concerned. Yeah, pretty much the same as before, I replied. What are you going to do? She asked. She wants you to come back. She says she'll forget about all of this, that she understands the damage she's caused. I sighed. Yes, I'm sure she's sorry, in a way. What do you mean, in a way? Finn asked, watching me intently. It's hard to explain, but I'll try. Would you girls like a drink? What you got? Lila asked. I've got stuff for Palomas, I said, getting up to make them. Yum, Finn replied. I'll have one. Lila nodded, so I got to work, taking a moment to collect my thoughts as I mixed the drinks. We settled in, getting comfortable on the porch. Lila, are you still dating that, what's his name? Finn teased. Lila laughed. No, I realized he was a jerk. I met someone new about a month ago. His name's David. Oh my God, you're dating a dick. Finn burst out, laughing. They both laughed so hard they could barely breathe, and I took the chance to jump in. All right, girls, suppose David told you he thought you were boring, Lila. How would that make you feel? Not too great, she said, wrinkling her nose. I'm not boring. No, you're not. But let's say, to him, you come across that way. Could you argue with how he feels? I don't know exactly what you mean, she replied, frowning. Well, Finn, you don't like raisins, and Lila, you don't like coconut. That's how you feel. Could anyone convince you to feel differently? No, Finn said. I see where you're going with this. Did Mom really tell you she thinks you're boring? Not in those words exactly, I admitted. But she did say she missed the thrill and spark of when we were younger, back when everything felt fresh and bright. She said she feels like we're in a rut, repeating the same old things, and she wants to bring some excitement back. Do you feel the same way, Dad? Finn asked. Maybe a little, I said. I know I'm not 25 anymore, but I like what we have. Otherwise, I'd be doing something else. I don't see anything wrong with that, Lila said. So what is it she wants to do? Different things, mostly. But the problem is, she doesn't want to do them with me. She wants to do them with other men. She likes the attention, the feeling of being wanted, so she's planning on dating, and if things go further, well, she's open to it. Oh my God, Finn murmured, shaking her head. How are we supposed to handle this? We can't argue with her feelings, I said. But the truth is, all this excitement and energy she's searching for won't magically appear just because she's seeing someone else. No, it won't, Finn agreed. Honey, really think about it. Do you believe this realization just hit her out of nowhere on Friday, and she suddenly arranged to go out with some guy that same night? No, Finn replied, catching on. You're saying she's been thinking about this for a while. Yes, I said. She's been mulling it over long before she told me. And now, we're all feeling the fallout. Has she said anything to me? Not a word. Do you understand? I asked. Yes, I do, Finn said quietly. Same here, Lila added. Lila leaned forward, looking hopeful. Dad, if she were to see a therapist, get some counseling, and actually change your mind, do you think you could work it out? I shook my head, feeling the weight of it. Lila, she thought she could just come to me, say she was going on a date, and that I'd be fine with it. Do you understand how deeply disrespectful that is? She sank back in her chair, clearly disappointed. Yes, Dad, I know. I'm really sorry. I looked at her. And even if she were genuinely sorry, do you think she truly is? She did apologize, Lila said hesitantly. But only for not telling you better. She didn't apologize for what she actually wanted to do. Lila seemed resolute. I'm going to talk to her. Finn, would you help me? If she's willing, could you recommend a good therapist? Finn nodded. If she asks for help, I'll be there. But I won't step in unless she makes that choice herself. Yeah, Lila agreed. She has to want it on her own terms, not feel pressured into it. She looked troubled as she hugged us and left, promising to always be there for us. Finn kept her distance from Harper, rarely bringing her up in the weeks that followed. I heard updates from Lila, who said Harper was rejecting the idea of individual therapy, though she was entertaining the thought of couples counseling. When I asked Finn what she thought, she was skeptical, saying that unless Harper dealt with the real issues underlying her unhappiness, couples counseling would just mask the problem or try to talk me into accepting her new needs. Are you ready for something like that? Finn asked me one night. No, I replied. I'm not interested in other women, and I'm definitely not interested in sharing her with other men. Lila, ever the realist, chimed in, Are you sure, Dad? What if you thought of it as a break from marriage? Maybe you could meet some attractive women, have a little fun, and see where things go. Maybe Mom just needs to get this out of her system, and everything will go back to normal. I snorted. And what happens the next time she gets bored? In 2 years, 5 years, or 10? Besides, I don't exactly have a line of women waiting outside, even if I were interested, which I'm not. They both laughed. Unless they're clients or burglars, you don't meet a lot of people, Dad, Finn said, teasing. You look great for your age, Dad, Lila added. If you wanted to, I bet you wouldn't have any trouble meeting someone. But I'm not interested, I said, shaking my head. No, Lila, I don't have it in me. Are you disappointed? I asked her after a moment. In a way, yes, she admitted. I hate seeing you and Mom so distant. But I respect you for knowing yourself and standing by your values. Thank you for that. After 2 months with no real change, I'd had enough and filed for divorce. Harper called me immediately. Alex, this has gone too far. Are you actually divorcing me? On what grounds? I don't need grounds. It's a no-fault divorce, I replied calmly. What are you going to tell people? She asked. That we had a disagreement and you divorced me? I'm not telling anyone anything, I said. It's nobody's business. Well, I'll be there, she said. We need to talk before things go too far. How about dinner on Friday night? Fine, I agreed. Friday evening, as I was finishing up dinner preparations, I heard the door open. It felt strange that she would just walk in, though we technically shared the lake house. I never went to our house in town unless I knew she wasn't there. She looked as beautiful as ever, and I felt that familiar spark, even with all the tension between us. She tossed her purse on a chair and walked over, clearly wanting a hug and a kiss. I could only manage a brief hug. She looked hurt, but I was hurting too, and with good reason. What can I do to help? She asked. Everything's ready. You can set the table while I bring the dishes, I said. We sat down, poured some wine, and she started talking. I don't want a divorce, Alex, she began. That's what I don't understand, I replied. Why not? Because I love you and want to spend the rest of my life with you, she said. But why? I asked. We've been married most of our adult lives, and you haven't been happy. Or did I misunderstand? I never said I wasn't happy, she argued. Maybe you just used the wrong word, I said. But Harper, don't play word games with me. You've made it pretty clear you're not satisfied. Then you're not understanding me, she said. I am satisfied. I just wanted to add something new to make our lives even better. Okay, but you wanted to add that something new by dating other men, I replied. That made me deeply uncomfortable. So, the simple solution is that we'll get divorced, and you can date all the men you want. I won't be in the way. I don't see why it matters whether I'm dating other men if it doesn't change my love for you. The difference is that I wouldn't be married to you while I do it. Exactly, I said. Then I can go on living my life, maybe even find someone who doesn't need to date other people. You'd get what you want, and I'd get what I want. That's not what I want, she insisted. Why should it be a choice between you and random dates with other men? If I have to choose, I'd rather be married to you. I understand that, Harper, and the girls know it too. But here's the issue. I don't want to be married to someone who even wants to date other men, whether she follows through or not. We finished dinner and moved to the couch, where she looked at me with a hint of desperation. So that's it? She asked. Even though I love you, and I've given up the idea and chosen you, don't you want to be married to me? Yes, Harper, that's exactly it. Look at me, Alex, she said, moving closer. What happened? She asked, confused. Harper, have you met someone else? I asked, though I already knew the answer from the look in her eyes. She hesitated but then chose honesty. Yes, Alex, I have, she admitted softly. I took a deep breath. So, are you planning to go on a date with him? Eventually, probably, she said, avoiding my eyes. Well, I like being married, Harper. I don't think it's boring. She sighed deeply. Could I be one of the women you date? Maybe, I said. But I don't think I can do that. I don't feel the same way about you anymore. Maybe with time, I'll stop being angry about how all this played out. Maybe I'll stop thinking about the other guys you're with, I said, but don't hold your breath. She looked visibly shaken, grabbed her purse, and walked to the door. Let me know if you change your mind, she said, then left. The divorce process moved along, but then her attorney requested counseling. That caught me completely off guard. The judge explained that by law, he had to order it if one of us requested it. I'm not doing this, I said firmly, telling my lawyer, it's none of the judge's or the state's business. He could hold you in contempt, my lawyer warned. Well, you're the expert, I retorted. Figure it out. I can't, he replied. That's what the law says. I sat there in silence, considering my options. What if we withdraw the divorce petition? Would he still be able to order it? My lawyer looked surprised. No, I don't think so. Is that what you want? Yes. Do it, I replied decisively. The decision took everyone by surprise in the courtroom, and I noticed Harper's smug expression. After the proceedings adjourned, I approached her. I only dropped the suit because I refuse to be forced into something I don't want, I said. Until you end this nonsense, I'm cutting you off completely. Don't call, write, or send any messages. If that's how you want it, you'll never hear from me again. Her mouth fell open, and she started to say something, but I turned and walked away. For the next 2 months, she tried to reach me, using Lila as a go-between, which only stirred up more tension between Finn and Lila. Harper even showed up at the lake house 3 times, but I'd already changed the locks. She came to my workplace once, and I had to have security escort her out. After 2 months, she finally gave up, telling Lila she was done with counseling. So, I proceeded with the divorce, and we were back in front of the judge. This time, it was uncontested. The judge didn't look thrilled, but he had no choice but to finalize it, and he couldn't order counseling. Harper kept the house in town, and I got the lake house, exactly what I'd wanted. We divided our property, businesses, and pensions equitably, with no spousal support owed by either of us. It was a straightforward, if tedious, divorce. I began buying up small businesses, and it wasn't long before I was able to retire. I spent my days fishing, learned to water ski, and spent the summer on the boat with the girls. By October, I was ready for a change and decided to apply for a visa to become a resident of Mexico. I could stay for 180 days as a tourist, which gave me time to figure out my next move. I winterized the house, traded my Chevy for a diesel F-350, bought a luxury camper, hooked up the boat, and headed south. Lake Baraka in Nayarit, Mexico, would be my new home for the next 6 months. The girls were a bit unsettled by my decision at first, but when I sent them plane tickets to Guadalajara and promised them plenty of beach time, they warmed up to the idea. During my first week there, I found a 5-acre piece of land about a mile from the lake, bought it, set up utilities, and by the end of the month, I was a local. On my second fishing trip, I reeled in a 14-pound bass, and I was hooked, pun intended. Lila flew down in January, and I met her at the airport. We drove to Puerto Vallarta and stayed at a full-service hotel, enjoying a wonderful time together. On our last day, lounging in beach chairs by the ocean, she turned to me and asked, "You're not coming back, are you, Daddy?" "I haven't decided yet," I replied. "But I'm leaning towards staying. You girls are the only reason I'd come back, and I'll fly to see you whenever you want. I'll visit a few times a year." She hesitated. "What about Mom?" I grimaced. "Is she okay?" "She's mostly working," Lila said. "I think she regrets everything." "Oh? How do you know?" "She doesn't outright say it, but she's not the vibrant person she used to be. I think she's sad. It doesn't seem like dating was what she expected." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, squeezing her hand. "But Lila, I'd rather not talk about her." She nodded, giving me a sad smile. "I just wanted to understand." "I know," I said, taking her hand. We shook off the bad vibes and had fun that night. I drove her to the airport, and she left with hugs and a few tears, promising to come back soon. Finn flew in February and stayed with me in the camper. We spent 3 days on the beach, soaking up the sun. After lunch on the third day, she looked at me and asked, "Where do you really live, Daddy?" I told her about the property I'd bought, and she was intrigued. She wanted to see it, so we put the convertible top down and hit the road. It was a long drive, but we had a great time. When we arrived, she took in the view of the lake, the barns I'd built, and the land surrounding it all. "I can't believe you have such a beautiful place, a cozy house, and a big truck. And you actually live here," she said in amazement. "I'm a lucky man," I replied. "It would be even better if you lived here too." She gave me a serious look. "I don't know how I'd make a living. I want to use my degree." "Do you remember what my degree is in?" I asked. "I think you told me, but I can't remember. I just know you have one." "It's agribusiness," I said. She laughed. "Farming? And here you are, all about machines. What's the connection?" "Well, I got into machine tools because I worked at a farm implement dealership. We were always dealing with combines that had sheared pins. I started making stronger pins, and the business took off from there." "I never knew that," she said, clearly impressed. "There are plenty of ways to use your degree," I told her. "What do psychologists mainly do?" "We listen to people's concerns," she replied. I grinned. "Bartenders do a lot of that too." She laughed. "You're right, I guess they do." She stayed for 2 weeks, and when she finally flew back, I missed her terribly. But eventually, I settled back into my routine. 6 months later, I got a call from her. "Dad, I need a favor," she said. "If I can help, I will," I replied. "I need a loan." "Are we talking a big loan, or are you just a little short on cash?" "It's a big loan," she admitted. "May I ask what it's for?" "Don't you trust me?" she teased. "Of course I trust you. I'll give you whatever you need." I was just curious. "I want to buy a cabin," she said. "That sounds interesting. Is it an existing place? Does it generate income? Can I look it up online?" "Yes, you can," she said. "But I was hoping you'd visit it." "Where is it?" "How far from here?" "About 10 miles from you, actually," she said. "It's on Lake Baraka." "Really?" I replied, laughing. "You're pulling my leg, aren't you?" "No," she said, laughing. "I went over their financials with an accountant. It's profitable, and they have a bar, so I can listen to people's problems like you suggested." She giggled, and I couldn't help but join in. "Oh my God, honey, that sounds like a dream come true for both of us. So, how much are you needing?" She showed me a hefty number. "Wow, Finn, you really went big here," I said, raising my eyebrows. "Go big or go home," she replied with a grin. "Don't you have enough saved up?" I asked. "Not if you'd like to get paid back," she replied. "I'll set up a payment plan, and it shouldn't take too long. Once I've owned the business a while and can show steady profit, I'll be able to get bank financing. Right now, I'm like someone with no credit." "I understand," I said. "This is incredible, Finn. I can't believe you're really doing this. It'll be so great to have you close by. I'll take a look, and you'll need to come and see it for yourself." 3 weeks later, she arrived, and we checked the place out together. It was mostly catered to U.S. fishermen and looked like a solid investment. 6 months later, Finn became the proud owner of the bar. She ran it beautifully, and everything was going smoothly. Max quickly became a local celebrity, spoiled by everyone, living his best life in doggy heaven. I spent a lot of time with Finn, often hanging around the bar, watching her work her psychologist magic on the patrons. The bar had a first-rate restaurant, and it was popular with locals too. It was always busy, but they always kept a table for me in the kitchen. One Friday night, the chef asked if I'd mind having some company. I wasn't exactly thrilled, but I agreed. When he returned with a woman, I was struck silent. She was breathtaking. She wore an elegant yellow dress that complemented her warm, rich complexion. The dress had one bare shoulder and fell just below her knee, with a slit revealing a stunning, toned leg as she walked. Her hair was a cascade of glossy black curls with hints of silver, and her face had a captivating heart shape with a high forehead, enormous dark eyes, high cheekbones, and a soft, pointed chin. The chef pulled out a chair for her, and she settled gracefully into it. "Mr. Barton, this is Miss Rivera," he introduced. "She's a friend of the house." I stood up, extending my hand. "Please, call me Alex." "No, Mr. at dinner." She laughed, a low, warm sound that made me want to hear it again. "You can call me Maya," she replied, her accent soft but her English flawless, her voice low and smooth as velvet. The server brought her a glass of sangria as she settled in. I struggled for words, her presence rendering me almost speechless. "It's, pretty packed here tonight," I managed. "Lucky they keep this table open." "Yes," she said, with a hint of amusement in her eyes. "I didn't make a reservation. Usually, Thomas finds me a spot, but tonight, I wanted to avoid the bar. There's someone there I'd rather not see." "Well, you're safe here with me," I said, attempting a bit of charm. "It's my life's purpose to keep obnoxious guests away from beautiful ladies." She blushed, her cheeks warming with a hint of peach. "I'm delighted to have a gallant protector, she replied with a laugh that sent a shiver down my spine. Do you come here often? I asked, trying to keep the conversation going. Yes, she said. As Thomas mentioned, your daughter owns the place. I can cook, but I prefer not to, so I come here instead. She smiled as she mentioned Finn. Your daughter is wonderful. We're becoming friends. Really? I said, surprised but pleased. I'm glad to hear that. Do you live nearby? Yes, she nodded. I have a place on the Siloa River. I'm there most of the time, but I also have a home in Los Machos. You must be close by as well. Well, yes, I replied, chuckling. I'm pretty mobile, though. I have a few acres not far from here with a couple of buildings, a truck, and a camper. I like the freedom to pick up and go whenever I please. She tilted her head thoughtfully. So, you're new here, like Finn? I moved here about a year ago, actually. I came first, and Finn visited, fell in love with the place, and decided to buy the business. What drew you here? She asked, genuinely curious. Fishing, initially, I explained. And it still is. I sold my business back in the States and decided to pursue a life with a little more freedom. She hesitated before asking, what sort of business did you run? Forgive me for prying. I laughed. No apologies needed. I don't mind. I made industrial parts for companies like Caterpillar and John Deere. Ah, so a bit of an industrial magnate, she said with a smile, her teeth dazzling against her warm skin. Not quite, I chuckled, but I did well enough to retire. She looked genuinely surprised. But you're so young. I was lucky. If 49 is considered young for retirement, anyway. I'm not retired, she said thoughtfully. I could, but I feel like I still have things to accomplish. Like what? I asked, genuinely intrigued. She leaned in, eyes sparkling with mischief. I'm a smuggler, she said with a playful smile, gauging my reaction. I must have looked alarmed because she burst into laughter. No, I'm only teasing. I own a pharmaceutical company. We supply medications to the Mexican Social Security Institute. Wow, I said, impressed. That's no small feat, that's why I spend time in Los Machos, she explained, watching me with a curious smile. But perhaps I should retire and take up the wandering life. What do you say? Loosen up, have a few adventures? I laughed. A bit of a free spirit, huh? Her smile widened. I do try. Your English is remarkable, I commented. But I bet your Spanish is even better. We switched to Spanish seamlessly. I'd like to know more about you, Maya, I said. What's your story? She tilted her head, giving me a thoughtful look. Curious just because I'm friends with your daughter? Exactly, I replied with a smile. Purely for Finn's sake. She laughed. Well, I have quite a bit of land along the river. I keep horses, but mostly cattle. What breed? I asked. Registered gay cattle, she replied. I don't know any personally, I joked, making her laugh. Alex, you're quite funny, she said, still giggling. I'll have to introduce you to a few so you can get properly acquainted. We both laughed, enjoying the ease of the moment. Maya, you're a very funny woman, I replied, feeling entirely captivated. I hope you don't mind me asking, I said cautiously, but, does Mr. Rivera exist? She paused, then replied, not anymore. He was killed in an explosion at a petrochemical plant. That was 11 years ago. Oh, Maya, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring up something so painful. It's all right, she said softly. Time has eased the pain. Now, I remember the good times. I nodded. Yeah, the pain fades, and you hold on to the memories that matter. She tilted her head thoughtfully. What about you, Alex? Finn obviously has a mother. Yes, and I have another daughter, Lila. She's 3 years older than Finn, I said, pulling out my phone to show her a photo of Lila. She's beautiful, Maya said. But she doesn't live here? No, she lives in the States with her mom. My wife and I divorced about 2 years ago. She looked at me gently. Is that still a sore subject? It was, I admitted, but less so over time. We just wanted different things. She wanted an open marriage, to explore relationships with other people. I didn't. I'm very sorry to hear that, she said, sympathy evident in her voice. That's life, I said with a shrug. Maya, would you let me take you out to dinner sometime? Maybe next weekend? I'd love that, but not this weekend, she said with a regretful smile. I have to go to Los Mochis the day after tomorrow and won't be back until next Tuesday. But how about the Friday after that? Perfect, I said. Can I get your number? I'll make a reservation and send you the details. Of course, she replied, handing me her phone. I added my number and saved hers. When you pick me up, maybe I'll introduce you to a few cattle, she joked, her eyes twinkling. I walked her to her car, a sleek silver BMW Z4. Nice ride, I said, admiring it as I opened her door. You were a wonderful dinner companion, Alex. Thank you for letting me join you. Believe me, the pleasure was all mine, I said, my voice sincere. I don't know how I'll manage to wait until our dinner date to see you again. You've got my number now, she said with a smile. Call me anytime. Late afternoon is usually best. I'll take you up on that, I promised, closing her door and watching as she drove off, feeling almost like I was in a dream. Back at Finn's place, I knocked on the door to say goodnight. She opened it, looking thrilled. Well? Did you like her? She asked, practically bouncing. Isn't she amazing? Did you ask her out? Oh, you set me up, didn't you? I replied, giving her a mock-serious look. She let out a mischievous giggle. Yes, I did. Good move, huh? Jesus, honey, how did you get her to go along with it? She loves me, Finn said with a grin. I told her about you, and she thought you two would be perfect together. Well, I did ask her out. She's going away for a week, but she agreed to have dinner with me next Friday. Now, I just need a car that's a bit more date-appropriate than the truck. You can borrow mine, she offered immediately. Thanks, Finn. That'll do for now, but I think I'll need to look into getting my own. The next day, I texted Maya. I can see it now, 2 devious women conspiring against me. She replied with smiley faces and hearts. Resistance is futile. My own daughter, I replied. Looking forward to our date. She sent back another batch of emojis, and each day that followed felt like an eternity as I anticipated our time together. It had been years since I'd felt this kind of excitement, like a teenager waiting for a first date. I thought back to my conversation with Harper about seeking that thrill and spark of being 25 again. Funny enough, I seemed to have found it. I wondered if she ever had. I wrote to Maya every day, and she replied with 2 or 3 messages, though she'd occasionally skip a day. Twice, I called her, and speaking with her was a revelation. She switched seamlessly between Spanish and English, sharing the little details of her day. Our conversations were effortless, like we'd known each other for a long time. She called to let me know when she was back, and my excitement grew. I drove to Finn's place to pick up her car, feeling like the truck and camper weren't exactly ideal for a first date. Following the directions Maya had given me, I drove along the river on a quiet road lined with a few scattered houses. I turned onto a paved path and found a gated entrance with a numeric keypad and a call button. I pressed it and waited. Hola, Maya's voice greeted me through the speaker. Hola, It's Alex, I said, smiling to myself. She laughed softly. I'm so pleased you're here. I have a feeling you'll be a delightful companion tonight. I'll see you shortly. The gate opened, and I drove down a long, winding driveway, wondering if I was in the right place. Finally, I spotted her home, a sprawling mansion perched on a cliff overlooking the river, the view absolutely breathtaking. I rang the doorbell, and a young girl answered. She was stunning, around 12 or 13, with a smile that reminded me of Maya. Behind her stood an older woman, watching us with interest. Good evening, Mr. Alex. I'm Nina, Maya's daughter, the young girl said, her English as smooth as her mother's. Nice to meet you, Nina, I said in Spanish, smiling. You look a lot like your mother. You're just as beautiful. Do you speak English? She blushed, just as Maya had. Yes, I speak English, Spanish, and French. I'm better at English than French, though. I'm sure you're good at all three, I replied. I'd like to take your mom out for dinner. Are you all right with that? She gave me a critical once-over. Well, you are, as they say, quite charming, for a man your age. I laughed. You're quite the charmer yourself. And hey, I'm not that old. She giggled, sounding just like her mother. Okay, maybe I exaggerated. But seriously, you're Finn's dad, and I love her very much. Thank you, I said warmly. She took my hand and led me inside, through a large, open space that combined the living room, dining room, and kitchen. This is Carla, she said, introducing me to the older woman who smiled and nodded politely. Pleasure to meet you, I said, shaking her hand. Nina runs the house when my mom's away, she said proudly. Would you like something to drink while you wait for her? What would you recommend? I asked, playing along. Well, I usually go for lemonade, she said, grinning. But we also have a variety of juices and some adult options. Lemonade sounds perfect, I said with a wink. And just call me Alex. All right, Alex, she said with a twinkle in her eye. But I have to say, it sounds a bit formal. I chuckled, finding myself completely charmed by Maya's daughter and eager to see how the rest of the evening would unfold. You're quite the character, Nina, I said with a grin. She giggled. I just love to laugh. Let's take this lemonade out to the back porch. Zeta, I'll pour for us. Stay here with your guest, Nina, Zeta said kindly. No need to run off. It's fine, I replied. I wouldn't want to miss out on Nina's company. We grabbed tall glasses of cold lemonade and made our way into the living room, where the south wall was an expanse of glass doors opening onto a huge mahogany deck. Vine-covered beams held slow-turning leaf-shaped fans, framing an incredible view of the river and valley below. This place is amazing, I said, taking in the scene. I love it here, Nina agreed as we settled into some comfortable chairs. Let's have a real conversation. I couldn't help but smile. She had a charm well beyond her years. I've only had one real conversation with your mom, I admitted. Somehow, the subject of you never came up. She never mentions me. She's probably afraid people will end up liking me more than her, Nina joked, and we both laughed. Just then, Zeta appeared with a pitcher of lemonade, which Nina and I thanked her for in unison, prompting Nina to giggle again. Are you one of those people who can read minds? She teased. Absolutely, I said, playing along. I make everyone around me wear tinfoil hats. Oh, I think we have a few of those lying around. Should I warn my mom? She asked, her eyes twinkling with mischief. No, I replied, smiling. I think knowing her thoughts might actually help me make her happy. Nina tilted her head thoughtfully. Good plan, Alex. It sounds like you've got this all figured out. This is my first date in years, I admitted. I need all the help I can get. Speaking of which, Nina, I'd love to chat with you for hours, but do you think your mom will be ready soon? Mom likes to make an entrance, she said knowingly. Expect her any moment now. Thanks for the heads up, Nina, came a low, melodic voice from behind us. We turned to find Maya standing there, a vision in a simple yet elegant white linen dress that fell just above her knees. Sleeveless, with intricate lace at the neckline, it accentuated her tanned skin in the soft evening light. She wore platform sandals with tan straps winding up her calves, and a wide-brimmed white hat completed the look, giving her an air of sophistication. Nina grinned up at me. Isn't Mom beautiful, Alex? I cleared my throat. Yes, Maya, you look stunning. She smiled warmly. I see you've already met Nina. Yes, and it's been a pleasure, I said. Nina, you're a delightful young lady. I hope to see more of you. Finishing my lemonade, I walked over to Maya. Somehow, you never mentioned having such a wonderful daughter. I wanted her to be a surprise, Maya replied, her eyes sparkling. I figured once you met her, you'd adore her. I know how close you are with your daughters, and I wanted you to feel the same about mine. She's my world, Alex. I can certainly see why, I said, touched by her words. Dinner was just as exceptional as the restaurant's reputation had promised. Maya was captivating company, and after we ate, we visited a lively spot called Salon Tampico. The place buzzed with energy, with a large mariachi band playing, vibrant colors everywhere, and a palpable joy in the air. Dancing with Maya was like a dream. She moved gracefully, effortlessly transitioning from traditional Mexican dances to salsa and tango. Holding her close during a slow dance felt like something out of a fantasy. The drive back to her house felt surreal. When we reached her door, she leaned in and kissed me, a soft, electric moment that felt like a highlight in my life. Before I left, she invited me to bring Finn and join her and Nina the following Saturday. She touched my cheek gently, sending shivers down my spine. Then, on Tuesday, Lila called. Dad, when's a good time for me to catch up with you and Finn? How about 8 tonight? I suggested. I'll be at Finn's for dinner, and she should be free by then. Perfect. Could you ask her and send me a quick snap to confirm? Will do, I said. Is everything all right? Yeah, nothing serious. I just need to talk to you. I always have time for you, I told her. She laughed softly. Send me that snap. Love you, Daddy. Love you too, I replied. Finn was fine with the plan, and we were relaxing in her living room when Lila called. After catching up a bit, she got straight to the point. Dad, Finn, I can't stand living here without you two. I'm fed up with dating idiots, and my job is driving me crazy. Plus, being around Mom is just unbearable. I want to move there. Really? Finn said, her excitement obvious. That would be amazing. Do you think you could get a job here? I think I've already got it sorted, Lila said, sounding relieved. I'm planning to buy the travel agency that handles bookings for the lake cabins, including yours, Finn. Wow, you've really thought this through, I said, impressed. Lila, we'd love to have you here. Are you sure about this? Absolutely, she said, her voice wavering. I wanted to make sure you were both okay with it first. Hearing her choke up broke my heart. Lila, I'm so sorry if I ever made you doubt that, I said gently. I love you, baby. I'll always want you around, no matter what. I know we had some tension because of Mom, Finn said, her tone softening. But I love you too. You're my big sister, Finn added. Remember when you stood up to Taylor Brooks for picking on me in first grade? Lila chuckled, the sound a little watery. I remember. He was a jerk and had no business bullying my little sister. So, when do you think you'll have everything in place to move? I asked. It might take a month or two, she said. but I'm already working on it. It's exciting, to be honest. I can't wait, Finn added, her smile practically audible. We chatted for another hour before calling it a night. Later, as I sat in my camper, I reflected on how things were unfolding. It felt like my life was on a steady climb, each day reaching a new high. Finn had moved here, Maya had entered my life and brought this new sense of excitement, and now Lila was planning to join us too. I didn't think things could get any better. On Friday, I asked Maya if she'd like me to bring anything for our Saturday get-together. Finn says you make an incredible pico de gallo, she replied. Bring that. So I went to the market, picked up fresh ingredients, and prepared a large bowl of pico. Saturday morning, we loaded up the truck and headed to Maya's place. On the way, I wondered what Maya and Nina would think of my setup. They were clearly well off, but so was I, even if my lifestyle was a bit more, well, minimalist. I chose to live in a camper because I liked the simplicity, though I wondered if Maya and Nina might look at it differently. But when we pulled up, Nina came running out, throwing her arms around Finn the moment she got out of the truck. She hugged me next, a bit more reserved but clearly happy. We're going to the river, she announced. Mommy prepared everything for a taco feast. Yum, Finn said with a grin. That sounds amazing. Come inside. Nina said, taking our hands and leading us in. In the kitchen, coolers and baskets were arranged on the counter, with Maya and Zeta busy packing bowls, utensils, and drinks. We jumped in to help, and before long, everything was ready. Alex brought his truck, Nina said. It'll be perfect for transporting us all. The way she phrased it made me laugh. She was such a delightful kid. We loaded everything into the truck, with Finn and Nina in the back seat and Maya sitting up front with me. As we drove, Maya directed me through a few turns. It's good to have you as my guide, I said. I'd never find my way out here alone. She laughed. There are so many places you can get to around here. We have a few buildings down these roads, each with a different purpose. What kind of buildings? Finn asked. Horse barns, equipment sheds, livestock barns, paddocks, and a few other things, Maya explained. We soon arrived at a beautiful spot by the river, complete with a gazebo, a dock, and 3 jet skis resting in cradles. 2 large picnic tables and a grill sat under the shade of the gazebo. I was planning to heat everything up on the grill, Maya said. But since you brought your camper, we could use your stove too, right? Absolutely, I said. It's like having a mini kitchen on wheels. I've never been inside a camper like that, Nina said. I'd love to see it. Then you'll get the grand tour, I promised. We put the taco shells in the camper oven to crisp up while I showed Nina around. She sprawled out on the bed, tested every chair, and checked out each appliance with enthusiasm. After that, she and Finn carried some of our things over to the picnic tables, giving me a brief moment to pull Maya aside and kiss her. She responded with a kiss that was nothing short of electrifying, leaving both of us slightly breathless. Hello, beautiful, I said softly. I couldn't wait to be alone with you. She chuckled. It's nice to know I wasn't the only one, she whispered. Finn and Nina returned, and we got to work setting up lunch. Everyone raved about my pico de gallo, and I had to admit, it was a pretty fantastic meal. We spent the next hour chatting, laughing, and just soaking in the day. Then Nina perked up. Who wants to go jet skiing? She asked, her eyes sparkling. The girls had come prepared in shorts and t-shirts, and they quickly changed. Nina was ready first and stayed with me, chatting as I looked over the lift system for the jet skis. When I turned around, Finn and Maya had reappeared, and I took a second to take in the sight. She caught me staring, blushed, and crossed her arms with a shy smile. Ready? She asked, breaking the silence. Absolutely, I said, snapping back to the present. Nina climbed onto the jet ski behind me, and I noticed it had a bit more power and length than the others. We let Maya go ahead, as she knew the river best. We traveled upstream about 5 miles, passing under a bridge and around a bend before Maya slowed down and pointed to a small cliff. We turned off the engines as we approached, and Maya nodded toward a tree where a rope was tied high up on a branch. "Anyone up for a swing?" she asked. Nina practically bounced with excitement. "Yes. It's the best. You swing way out over the river and then drop into the deep water." I looked up, a bit wary, but figured I'd give it a go. Finn looked eager too. Maya waded knee-deep into the water, holding onto the jet ski, while the rest of us climbed up to the top of the cliff. "Who wants to go first?" I asked. "Finn should," Nina said. "I've done it plenty of times, and I want to watch her try." Finn grabbed the rod attached to the rope, took a deep breath, and swung out over the river. She went up at least 15 feet in the air before she let go, plummeting down into the water with a loud splash. She surfaced, laughing and tossing her hair back. "Oh my God, Dad, that was amazing. You have to try it." Next, it was Nina's turn. She flew through the air like a little bird, even managing a flip mid-swing before diving gracefully into the water. She swam back with the ease of an otter, holding onto the jet ski with Finn while Maya climbed up to join me on the cliffs. She took off with elegant ease, letting out a playful squeal as she dropped into the water. Finally, it was my turn. Standing at the top of the cliff, the drop seemed much higher than it looked from below. Every instinct told me to back out, but I couldn't let myself be outdone by a 12-year-old. I took a leap, feeling the thrill, and maybe a hint of terror, as I swung out over the water. When I reached the peak, I released the rope, plunging into the cool water below. I came up laughing, exhilarated. We took turns jet skiing for a while longer, with Nina eventually taking a turn driving. When we were all a little tired out, we lifted the jet skis from the water and spent some time lounging in the sun with cool drinks, savoring the warm rays. As evening approached, we packed up and made our way back to Maya's house. She invited me to stay for dinner, an invitation I eagerly accepted. "How are you feeling, Dad?" Finn asked, glancing at me as we settled in. "Pretty good. A little worn out," I replied. "There's something about sun and water that just wears you out." "But that's not what I meant," she said, giving me a knowing smile. "I mean, how are you feeling about Maya and Nina?" "Oh," I said, smiling. "Well, Nina is an absolute joy. It's impossible not to be charmed by her. And Maya, she's something else entirely. I never knew I could feel this way. She makes me happy just being around her. She's not only beautiful but warm and wonderful, too." Finn nodded, seeming pleased. "I'm happy for you, Dad. You deserve this. She's everything a man could ask for, funny, smart, a wonderful mother, and independent," I said, thinking aloud. "I know I want her, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same." "She does," Finn said with a smile. "She told me she thinks you might be the one." "Well, there can only be one," I replied. "I just have to make sure it's me." Finn gave me a playful nudge. "Exactly. Don't mess it up, okay?" "I'll do my best," I promised. "Thanks, Finn. Now, how about you? Time to find a little love of your own?" She laughed. "I know. I'll have to start working on it. I've just been so wrapped up in work lately, but I'm keeping my eyes open." I gave her a hug, then headed home. Over the next few months, Maya and I settled into a rhythm, seeing each other a few times a week. I started spending more time with Nina, taking her fishing and water skiing. We celebrated Cinco de Mayo together, and Nina became like a daughter to me. By the time 4 months had passed, I was entirely in love with Maya. Every moment with her filled me with happiness, and when we were apart, she was always on my mind, even filling my dreams. We kept up a steady stream of texts and photos, and after every date, our goodnight kiss lingered in my thoughts. I wanted everything with her, but I was careful, savoring each step. Finn and Lila quickly fell for Maya and Nina too. The four of them spent time together, doing everything from shopping trips to beach days, sometimes inviting me along and sometimes making it a girls-only day. Then one Monday, I called Maya with a spontaneous idea. "I'd like to take you to Tulum for the weekend," I said. She called back right away, excitement clear in her voice. "Are you serious?" "I've never been, but I've heard it's beautiful, with amazing Mayan ruins." "Yes, I thought it would be a nice family trip." "Should we bring Nina?" I asked. There was a pause, and then she said, "Alex, I'm so touched that you think of Nina and me as family. You're such a good man." "I'd love that, and I hope Lila and Finn can come too." "They're like your daughters now," I said warmly. "They love you and Nina very much." She hesitated a moment, then asked, "Do you love me very much?" Her question caught me off guard, but I managed to keep my voice steady. "Maya, I want to say everything to you in person, not over the phone." "I understand," she said, laughing softly. "I shouldn't have asked like that. We'll go to Tulum, and I'll ask you again when we're face to face." "Deal," I said. "There's a flight at 3 p.m. Will you be ready?" "I'll make it work," she said. "Drive carefully with my daughters." It turned out that both Finn and Lila could come, and Nina was thrilled when I told her about the trip. We loaded up the car and set off, with Nina in the back seat playing DJ and making everyone groan at each other's song choices. We picked up Maya and made it to the airport without a hitch. The flight was smooth, and Tulum lived up to every expectation. Lila, ever the expert travel agent, had arranged an all-inclusive package, and our hotel was nothing short of luxurious. On Saturday, we spent the day on the beach, splashing in the clear blue water, and then dined at a gorgeous open-air restaurant as the sun set. Finn and Lila took Nina to a beach party, letting us know she'd be staying with them for the night. Maya and I found ourselves alone. As we walked back to the hotel, I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her close. "Well, that wasn't suspicious at all. I think the girls set us up, Maya." She laughed. "I think you're right. Do you object, Alex?" "Not one bit," I said, squeezing her hand. "I love it if you do." "I'm very content," she said, smiling up at me. We went to my room, where I made us some drinks. Sitting on the small couch, she snuggled against me, her presence warm and comforting. "Maya, you asked me if I love you," I began, looking down at her. "I want you to know that I love you more than I ever imagined possible. Since the day we met, I haven't been able to think of anything else. You fill my heart, my mind, my entire life. I love you deeply." She looked up at me, her dark eyes bright with emotion. "That makes me very happy," she whispered. "I love you, Alex. After Rivera passed, I didn't think I could ever feel this way again. I grieved for so long, but now I have you, and you've completely taken my heart." "My heart belongs to you," she said softly, "and I want to give you everything." "Maya, from the first time I saw you, I wanted this," I confessed. "You're the most stunning woman I've ever known, and I didn't want to scare you away." She smiled, brushing a hand against my cheek. "I'm not scared. The only thing that scares me is the thought of you not loving me." I woke up to sunlight streaming through the curtains, watching her sleep beside me, her face peaceful and radiant. Just as we lingered in the morning quiet, there was a knock at the door. "Come back with a warrant," I called playfully. A familiar giggle sounded from the other side. "Dad, open up," Finn called. I grabbed my robe, and Maya pulled the blanket up around herself as all three girls came in, pushing a cart loaded with breakfast. Finn and Lila leapt onto the bed, wrapping Maya in laughter and chatter. I settled into a chair, and Nina climbed onto my lap, wrapping her small arms around my neck, her dark hair cascading over us. "Do you love her?" she asked softly. "I do," I said, hugging her close. "And I love you too, Nina." She smiled and looked at me with big, hopeful eyes. "I knew you loved us. Mommy's in love with you too," she told me. "I want to be your daughter, just like Finn and Lila." Emotion overwhelmed me as tears filled my eyes, and I held her tightly. "I'm honored you feel that way, sweet girl," I said, my voice thick. "I'll do everything I can to be what you need." "Are you asking if I'll marry your mom so we can be a real family?" I glanced over at Maya and the girls, all watching us with hopeful smiles. "There's nothing I want more," I said, meeting their eyes. "But I need to talk to your mom first. And I don't have a ring yet." Nina's face lit up with understanding. "Oh, yes, that makes sense." We enjoyed breakfast together, and then headed out to explore the Mayan ruins. The sight was breathtaking, made even more special by having Maya's hand in mine and a little girl holding onto my other hand. We flew home Monday morning, worn out but completely happy. After dropping Maya off, I took the girls ring shopping. We found an elderly jeweler from the Kahita tribe who crafted beautiful, unique pieces. Among his collection was a stunning fire opal, a red-orange stone that immediately captivated everyone. "I'm not sure it's traditional for an engagement ring," I said. "Usually, it's diamonds." "Mom would love this," Nina said confidently. She told me she prefers unique stones over diamonds. We laughed as I shook my head, amazed. "She really told you that?" "Yep, more than once," Nina confirmed with a grin. "See, Dad?" Finn added. "She'll love it." The girls convinced me, and we decided to set 4 small diamonds around the fire opal. The jeweler promised it would be ready in 2 weeks. When it arrived, I knew I'd found the perfect ring and began planning the perfect moment to propose. I told Maya I wanted to visit the gazebo by the river. She seemed to pick up on the significance of the moment, smiling softly as she agreed. We rode her quad bike to the spot, and the evening was beautiful, with the sun casting a golden glow over everything. Nina, who knew our secret, was practically buzzing with excitement but did a good job keeping it under wraps. Once we reached the gazebo, I took a deep breath, knelt down, and saw Maya's eyes widen as she realized what was happening. I took her hand, my heart pounding as I said, "Maya, I'm not the best with speeches, but I love you with all my heart. I can't imagine my life without you and Nina. Will you marry me? I promise to make you happy every single day." I opened the ring box, and she gasped, holding out her hand as tears filled her eyes. "Yes, Alex, I want to be your wife. I want to love you forever," she said, admiring the ring. "I can't believe you chose a fire opal, it's my favorite stone." "A little birdie told me," I replied, grinning. Her eyes sparkled as she laughed. "I think I know that bird." When we returned to the house, Nina was waiting eagerly. The moment she saw us, she ran over, throwing her arms around me. "I can't believe it. You're going to be my father, Alex," she exclaimed, suddenly overwhelmed with happy tears. I knelt down to her level, holding her close. "I'm so glad this makes you happy, sweetheart." "It does. I was hoping for this for so long," she said through her tears. "Well, you found me, Nina," I whispered. "And I'll never let you go." She hugged me tightly, then pulled back, her face bright with joy. "This is so amazing." I chuckled. "Nina, you've been hanging around Finn too much, you're starting to sound like her." She giggled, her eyes shining. "She's teaching me a lot of cool words." We set the wedding date for December 5th. On that day, when I saw Maya walking down the aisle in her shimmering gold dress, I felt like the luckiest man alive. She had wanted to break with tradition, saying the gold symbolized a fresh start, a new chapter for both of us. I moved into her home, though we kept the camper for future adventures. A year into our marriage, Lila came to me with a serious expression. We sat out on the deck as she gathered her courage. "Dad, Mom wants to come visit," she said, hesitating. I sighed, knowing this day would come eventually. "When is she planning to come?" "She wants to be here for Christmas," Lila replied, looking down. "Lila, what do you want?" I asked gently. She bit her lip, struggling to find the words. "I wanted to spend Christmas with you and Finn. But now I feel like I need to spend some time with Mom. Finn doesn't want to, so I'll be with her. I still love Mom, Dad. I'm sorry if this disappoints you, but I remember all the good times we had together." I pulled her into a hug. "I understand, Lila. I'm not disappointed at all. I'm proud of you for keeping that kindness in your heart." She relaxed, letting out a sigh. "Thanks, Dad. I just wanted you to know. It's okay. You can still spend time here too," I reassured her. "Just let your mom know you already have plans for Christmas dinner. She'll have to accept it." "It's hard," she admitted, "but I'll figure it out. I just wanted to talk it through with you." "Maybe I should talk to Maya about this," I said. "She's wise, and her perspective could help." Lila spent the day with us, and after dinner, she went back home. When Maya returned from a short trip to Los Mochis a couple of days later, we sat down by the fire, and I shared the news. She listened thoughtfully, sipping her wine as she watched the flames. "How do you feel about seeing her, Alex?" "I've been thinking about it. She's the girl's mother, and I knew she'd want to see them eventually. But I don't have any lingering feelings for her, Maya. Those years are over. We shared good times, but they were stained by how things ended." Maya snuggled closer, resting her head on my arm. "I think we should all have dinner together at the cabin. I'd like to meet her myself, get a sense of who she is." "Really?" I asked, surprised. "Yes," she said firmly. "She was a big part of your life and of the girls' lives. I want to know her myself." I was nervous about the idea, but Maya was strong-willed and always stuck to her instincts. When Harper arrived, she stayed at Finn's cabin, spending time with the girls. Maya met her, and if there was any tension, she didn't mention it. One evening, after the meeting, I asked her how it went. "I actually like her," Maya said. "Really?" "Yes, she seems different. Lila and Finn say she's become more introspective, more grounded. We got along fine." "Well, that's a relief," I said. "It sounds like a positive change." Maya nodded. "We even talked about you." "Oh," I said, half joking. "Did she tell you about my stubborn streak?" She laughed. "Only that you have one." Otherwise, she had nothing but kind things to say. I chuckled. "Well, maybe I was stubborn. But I'm glad she's changed. And I'm grateful to have you, Maya. That's never going to change." Nina wandered in and curled up with us, and I wrapped my arms around my two dark-haired girls, feeling complete. 2 days before Christmas, a storm rolled in, and the river rose dangerously high. We spent the night pulling the dock up several times, and on Christmas morning, I was up early with a laborer to fix sections of the fence that had blown down. We ate at 2 p.m., and by the time I finished working, the house was alive with laughter and chatter. I took a shower and got ready, then made a spiced rum punch and a jug of hot spiced cider. Just as I put them on to heat, I heard voices at the door. Nina ran in, taking the seat beside me, with Max lying comfortably across our legs. That smells good," Nina said, sniffing the air. "What is it?" "It's rum punch," I said. "Want to try it?" She took a sip and scrunched her nose. "Yuck. It smells way better than it tastes." I laughed. It's an acquired taste. But I also made spiced cider. Go pour yourself a cup. She headed to the kitchen just as Finn walked in, catching the scent and declaring she liked the punch. Lila followed, and my jaw dropped as Maya walked in hand with Harper. They both noticed my reaction, and Maya came over to me. "Don't be mad, Alex," she said softly. Harper didn't have anyone to spend Christmas with. I couldn't let her be alone, so I invited her. I wasn't exactly thrilled, but I wasn't upset either. Maya took my hand and led me to Harper. "Harper would like to talk to you," she said gently. I offered Harper a drink, and she chose a cider. We walked to the quiet of the office, where she took a seat. "You look well, Alex," she said. "Thank you." "So do you," I replied. She did look well, perhaps even healthier and more content than I'd seen in years. She took a deep breath. "I owe you an apology, Alex. I was selfish and only thought about what I wanted. I disrespected you, and it's left me with regrets I'll carry forever. I hope you can forgive me, even if I don't deserve it. I know you're a good man, the man I married, and I hope you'll grant me forgiveness." I considered her words for a moment. "I've already made peace with it, Harper. There were consequences, and one of those was letting me find what I have now. I was bitter and hurt, but I've moved beyond that." She nodded, looking down. "I'm truly sorry for the pain I caused." Taking a deep breath, I replied, "I forgive you. And I want you to know Maya and Nina mean the world to me now. Lila and Finn adore them. Nina is like a little sister to them, and Maya has become a part of our family. You'll always be their mother, Harper, and you're welcome here. Maya and the girls have noticed the change in you, and I hope you find happiness too." "Can we be friends?" she asked quietly. "Maybe," I said with a small smile. "But let's keep things simple." She laughed, a sound of relief and perhaps acceptance. "Fair enough. You've landed solidly on your feet, Alex. I'm still finding mine." Maya appeared at the door, peeking in with a smile. "Ready to eat?" We sat down around the big table, with Nina leading Grace. Laughter and conversation filled the room, and I looked across the table at Maya, who winked at me, her eyes bright with joy. Nina sat beside me, sneaking treats to Max, who lay at her feet with a look of pure contentment. Lila and Finn chatted happily, and even Harper seemed at ease. It was shaping up to be a wonderful Christmas, the kind I'd never expected to experience again.